this is Cinema.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are giving you a preview for Galactic Cruise. This is a new game coming to Kickstarter. It's designed by TK King, Colton Thompson, and Dennis Northcott, published by Kingston Key Games.
It plays from 1 to 4 players in 90 to 150 minutes.
Galactic Cruise. This is one. I like it. I like that. That was fun. I had to say it was fun to make it more fun. I really had heard about this game for a long time. Had you really did that?
No, never.
I heard about this game maybe 2 years ago. At least in the beginning of last year. They started very pushing this. I saw many of my friends on Facebook playing this game.
Getting addicted.
And what?
You said pushing it.
Oh yeah, they were pushing it, like the first one's free. But every day I saw this game, I was like, this is a game I really want to play. And now we have played it, and now we're going to talk about it. That was my story for today. It was a really good story.
Great story.
You can buy the film rights if you want to. Hollywood, I'm looking at you. In this game, you are one of the... you are working for the Galactic Cruise, a Galactic Cruise company, and you are trying to be the best person.
The very best?
Yes, I think...
That no one ever was.
Yes, you're trying to see who will be the new owner of Galactic Cruise.
What a theme.
Or favorite theme of all time right there. I don't care, because it's a Euro game, so theme is not important. I just love that that's like the easiest theme to make when you're like, okay, what's the reason 4 people in the same company are working against each other? They're trying to be the very best, like no one ever was. Yes. So, Galactic Cruise is a worker placement game where you are going to place a worker on your turn. There's a couple of different other things you can do as well. You can set off on a cruise, or you can place a worker, or you can do like a meeting, which is basically resetting and getting some bonuses. You're placing a worker, there's no blocking, you're blocking yourself, so you cannot go to the space where you already were. If you go somewhere where somebody else is, you're going to bump them back to their place, where they will get like a bonus for that, so it's kind of not good doing that. And you're trying to get stuff. You're trying to get resources. You're trying to get shuttles. You're trying to get the different rooms for a shuttle. You're trying to plan a cruise. You're trying to get the different meeples or the people who want to go on the cruise. And then you're trying to upgrade your player board and get different abilities. Trying to get these cards, which gives you special actions. Just trying to do this in the best way possible so you can send off your shuttles on cruises to let these people look around on different planets and have cool days in space. You're also looking at the company, what they have, like their goals they want you to accomplish, and trying to do those as well. Every time you do one of the major things in the game, which is doing one of the goals or launching a cruise, you are placing a cube, which is basically a timer. And there's 3 tiered timers. So when the first one is full, you're going to do scoring. Second one is full, you're going to do scoring. Third one is full, you're going to do one more round, and then you're going to do the final scoring. And the player who has the most points at the end of the game is going to be the winner and the next owner of Galactic Cruise. This is a prototype.
Yes.
But so, as we always say with prototypes, we have seen this. We don't know how much will change. We don't know if things will change. So we're just going to talk about it based on this. I feel like the artwork is pretty done.
Yeah, it feels like that. It has beautiful artwork by Ian O'Toole, which we also always love and adore. And I think it has great artwork.
Yes.
And the board is easy to get a hang of what. And I think it's fun with the little artwork on the rooms in the shuttle.
Yes.
It feels really thematic that there are board games in the board game conventions and a climbing wall in the climbing wall section. That is fun. But the symbology is also spot on for this game. I think... Oh, I'm skipping ahead of myself, but I want to speak about the play rate because it's really good. It's 8 pages long, and it has...
It's saying like version on it, so this might be changed.
Yeah, it has everything you need to know, and the first time I played this game, this was essential. When you're getting a hang of it with more plays, you don't need this, but it basically explains every action. It explains some of the scorings and special abilities, and it has also all the things you like, the turn flow on the back. Love this.
It's a great play rate, and I think like more heavy games should have this.
Yes.
A little booklet with the reference and all the actions in it, so that you don't have to send a 40-page rulebook in there. There is a rulebook. We're going to talk about it. I'm just going to go a little bit back to the components.
Yes.
It's a big game. you need space to play this game. Like I feel like the heavier games are getting bigger. Board games are getting bigger. I don't like. There is a lot of information. I don't see how you could have done this a lot smaller without making it harder to read.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a balance there.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time we played this, we played it on like a smaller table. I was like, oh, this takes a lot of space. But then we put it up on our table, and I was like, oh, it's just a normal board game. It still takes a lot of space. We have a big table, but it's not like there's some of these spaces on the main board, like the action placement spaces, could have been smaller.
They could have been smaller.
There and the workers are very large, but that's like basically to make it make sense with the size of this. I don't see how this could have been much smaller because like you would have had to take away things that are essential to make the game
also
flow.
Like the flow structure here
of
as
the
well.
round,
Really like that.
And the launch structure, how everything is here.
That is really good.
Yeah, so I just think like just know that it's a bigger game before you go into it, and we have already spoiled it. There is a rulebook, and there is a player rate.
Yes.
The rulebook is a work in progress, but it's a very good rulebook. I will have to say that even though it is like 40 pages long, it's not. It's 30 pages before there's 2-player rules, and there is the scoring. There's 29 pages. There's a lot of examples, very well laid out, very easy to read. There is quite a few rules in this game, but and we're going to talk more about that. I'm kind of spoiling things. I cannot spoil things. It's a quite good. It's an easier game to get into if you're used to heavier games.
Yes, we have played the game with 2 and 3 people, and it has taken us 1 hour 45 minutes and 2 hours 20 minutes ish.
Yes. What do you feel about the time length of the game?
Great.
Yes.
And this is a game that it starts slow, and then you because you're building yourself up, and then like everybody's like getting a lot of things done, and then it's suddenly over, and it feels like kind of a race at the end to do the things that you want to do. So at the game's end, you feel like oh no, it's done already. So I feel like this is a great time for this game.
This is an interesting topic basically, which is like this has it doesn't have rounds, it has turns. So like, and I like that. I really am a fan of games where you're just like going around and around and around and around till the game ends. I was just thinking like, what do I like the most? Do I like rounds or do I like turns? But this one is one where there's not going to be that much downtime because most actions are not complicated and most turns are not long.
Yeah.
So most of the time it's not going to be a lot of downtime, a lot of waiting until it's your turn. The 2-player has a dummy system. There's no work. Like there's nothing like, oh, the dummy player doesn't have turns. It just works in a way that when you play someone with a dummy player, it's going to move and bump somebody else. It just adds a virtual 3rd player and works really well.
Yes.
So it works really great with 2 players as well. Let's talk about the game.
Yes.
The game is a worker placement game.
Yeah. And you activate 2 actions you have available on your turn. And what you have available depends on where you're placing your worker, but it also depends on where you have placed cogs.
Yeah.
Cogs is kind of upgrades that give you more room for resources because you're removing them from your board.
Yes.
So you get more storage, which I think is cool. And it also gives you access to the nearby or like adjacent actions.
Yeah.
So the more cogs you have, the more you can't do more actions, but you have more flexibility in what actions you can do.
Because there's 6 different spaces to place your worker. Each of them is going to have 2 actions linked to them, and then you're going to be able to also do the actions that are this way or this way, like depending on when you place. If there are cogs there, if there are cogs of other people, you could also do those actions, but you have to pay them money, depending on how much influence you have. If you are higher on the influence track, you're going to have to pay less money for doing actions from other people. This is another game where you have placed the workers, as I said in the overview, you only block for yourself. But I really like the fact that the action spaces aren't blocked, but they're kind of half blocked.
Yes.
Do you understand what I mean with that?
I agree, because you can go there, but if I bump your meeple, then not only do you get a bonus for getting him back, that is good, but you also then get him available, so you can do like an action. You could be empty, and then like I can give you a worker, so you don't need like a reset round, which is really, then I want to avoid that. I want to do another action.
Yeah, and sometimes I really have to do the action, but I like the fact that, okay, but I have my cog there, so I can place here instead, so I can do one of the actions where you are, but not placing where you are, because I don't need the action on the other side. So the flexibility of the actions are very nice. Like there is a basic setup the first time you play, which pairs like actions that are good together. Worked really great the first time, but after that, really happy we didn't play with that, because it makes the puzzle of where to play and where to place your cogs and which actions to do way more interesting.
Yeah, it really adds to the replayability, the different like pairings you can have of the different actions.
Let's talk just briefly about the reset, because many worker placement games now have this kind of reset round, and I really like how this game does it.
I agree. When you reset in this game, you get like this little bonus for taking your dudes in, but you also get to do one action instead of two on your normal turn, and you have to do it adjacent to one of your cogs. So that is also one of the reasons you want to have more cogs on the board to be able to do the reset action that you want to.
Yeah. Another thing about this game, which is kind of different from many worker placement games, is that you could possibly win this game by not getting any more workers.
Yes.
Because there's only 2 more workers you can buy, and in the beginning
that is double your workers though. So.
That is true, but I never bought 2. I think you did once.
Yeah, I did twice.
Oh yeah, you're so cool, the worker person. But I don't think you have to. Like when you get to the point where you can buy the other one for cheaper, the game might soon be done.
Yes.
Because depending on which, like one of the workers gets cheaper the more you upgrade and build specific cogs, and the other one gets cheaper depending on how many of a specific bonus you're going to take. When we're not going to go into detail about how that works.
When you shuttle things away, basically.
And those workers are just bigger and have a coat on them. I think they're scientists.
Cool.
And they do the same things. They can go into space, they can do all these different things, but they also, every game is going to have a specific ability. So it's just like, and that kind of, some games I feel like it's super important to get one of them, and other times it's not that important. But there's just like so, and I feel like I'm just going to talk about it now. The variability in this game is pretty high, because you have those are variable. You have 4 different abilities that are going to be different each time you play. Technologies,
I think they're called.
And then you're also going to have the goals, company goals. That's going to be different each time. So just like many of those things that make the game more variable.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole game is basically, as we said, you're trying to do the company goals and you're trying to launch cruises. Those are the 2 things you're doing, and to launch a cruise has quite a few different steps. Like there's many things you need to do. You don't have to do them in any order. You just have to, when you're launching the cruise, have the things that are needed.
Yes, so you want to have like a shuttle, a bottom part and a top part of your cruise, and then you want to have blueprints. And then you want to have money to actually build the rooms that you have blueprints for.
Yeah.
Then you want to have enough resources because you need food and oxygen and fuel to launch your spaceship. You want to have advertised, so you're actually having some passengers on your flight. That's nice as well. And you want to have like a route planned. Yeah,
I have to say, before we say anything else, I have to say it now, that even though I usually don't care, and I don't care when I play this game either, and even though we like made fun of the goal of the game, the theme is pretty strong.
Yes!
I will have to say that. I
thought it was the same thing.
Yeah, like everything you do makes sense. Everything you do fits to the theme. So if you like your Euro games to be thematic, then I think this is going to be a great fit for that. Because, as you said, like it makes sense. You're using advertisement to get these people to go on your cruise. You're building this cruise, or everything makes sense. So you're sending this cruise out, and a lot of the scoring comes from this, because you are going to have like a top of your shuttle, and that's going to tell you what you're going to score points for when you send this into space, and you're also going to score it once more at the end of the game. So you're trying to build up your strategy depending on which shuttles you get. You can have a maximize of 3 shuttles, and sometimes you won't even be able to send out all of those, and you're going to lose points, which I did. And And you can have maximize of 3 rooms, and 3 rooms is going to give you 2 cabins, which has room for 2 people. There's ways to get around that to be able to build higher, bigger cabins, and more cabins and get more people on the cruise. Because the more people on the cruise you have, the more points you will score when they reach planets. Then you just have to have other advertisements to send them out to do activities to give you points. And then you're also unlocking abilities when you go to these different planets on your cruise.
I think that is a really cool, interesting puzzle, because you want to, like, sending out the cruises is the main goal.
Yeah.
But you also want to, you're not wanting to send out like a cruise just for the fun of it.
Nope.
You want to have, you want to pick out the right color meeples for the right route that you're going to take.
Yes.
So you can utilize the cruise that you're actually sending out. That is a bit of a process. You're not going to do that many times, because it also triggers the end of the game.
Yes.
So you want to pick like these shuttles with, or like, shuttles with the best scorings for you, and work towards like maximizing those scorings.
I really love the timer. Like we briefly mentioned it already. The timer has, like, it's different depending on the number of players you are, how many cubes are going there, and then go when you launch and when you do a company goal. And as the rulebook says, like, there's 3 of them, and usually the number 1 is the smallest one. But the rule is saying, like, when you fill in that, you're almost halfway through the game, even though it doesn't look like that, because you say it's escalating.
Yes.
Everything you're doing, you're building, and then boom, 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 sending, doing this, have more stuff. And then the game ends. And it always ends before you want it to, which is a great thing.
Yeah, I agree. It leaves you wanting more, and you're like, okay, next time I want to do this and this, because then maybe I can do a cooler thing. And I really like the company goal, because you have like these things that you want to achieve, and they're different every time you play, or like, it could be. You could pick a different one.
Yes.
You pick the same
or
one
if
if
you play
you
it
want
like
to.
10,000 times, it doesn't
you would have to circle it, But if I, for example, if the goal is to have sent three shuttles into space, then when you do that, it's not taken, but it gets harder for me to reach that goal, because now I need to get 4 shuttles into space, for example. I really think that is cool.
And this game is pretty tight.
Yes.
And depending on the strategy you do and how well you play, it has a pretty tight economy. You never have enough money, you never have enough ads, you never have enough resources. Even though it has that, it doesn't feel super punishing to me.
I agree.
It's like you have to do things in the correct order to be able to win, but it's not a game where it's going to be like, oh, you did that, you lose. It has, like, you will always be able to do an action because it's not blocked other than by yourself. And even though it might be blocked by yourself, you can place adjacent to it and do those actions if there's a cog there, and either it's your or you're willing to pay for it. So it's kind of like, it feels, it's not going to come and punch you in the face.
I agree. You have these actions that cost a lot of, like, unlock cogs, getting another worker. They cost money, they cost resources. They also have these action spaces where you're just like, I'm going there, I'm getting 3 resources.
Yep.
I'm going there, I'm getting 2 cards. I don't have to pay for it, I'm just getting it, which is really nice.
Yeah, and the cards are very powerful.
Yes, could be.
Yeah,
I feel
most
like
of them are.
Some are really good, and some are less good.
I think more of them
but
are more
I thrive with that.
I think more of them are more specific. Like, they would be very good in this specific situation, while another one is just good
all around. Yeah.
And I don't think, like, sometimes these cards feel overpowered. So I think, like, if you let one, I'm not saying they are, but I feel like if there was like a game, oh, you're playing the game now, and only one player gets to play with the cards, that would be hard, because they give you, like, super. For example, you could build an upgrade for 2 instead of 6 resources
really
for money,
nice.
which is like, it is a lot. And these cards are nice. They don't refill. It's a very interesting mechanism. They don't refill until somebody does the refill action, gets some bonuses, and fills them up. And you will do that when all of them are taken, or when you really need something, or you're placing somewhere, doing an action, and I don't really know what to do. It's not like, oh, I'm doing this super duper action, filling this up. But it's an interesting mechanism for sure. I think this puzzle is very satisfying.
I agree.
I feel like there's a lot of replayability. I feel there's 9 different upgrades. Those are going to be the same each time, which you can upgrade when you go on a cruise. Some of them feel better than the others. There's some combos you can do, and those are going to be available each time you play. So there are some combos that are very powerful, and that will always be very powerful. for you every time you play. So that's going to be when you talked about the variability, this is the static part of the game. Do you feel like that's a problem?
I don't. I think it really depends on what you want, because some feel more powerful than others, but I feel like that's with the card as well.
Yeah.
Some are more specific, like in one situation, and some things
more
are all
specific.
yes. But I think you're going to unlock so few in a game that even though they're the same, you're probably not going to choose the same one each time you play, because you're not going to get them all in either way.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like that was a couple of them for me was so powerful that I wanted to probably do them each time.
Yeah.
But that was just, I've not played the game 50 times, so it might change depending on what kind of strategy you're playing. So the weight of the game, and who is this game for?
I think this is in the heavy games genre, but it is on the lighter end of the scale. So if you're looking for tapping your toes into a heavier game, I think this is a nice entry point.
Yeah, I really agree. I feel like if you like tight economic games, if you like worker placement games, if you like doing things that are very satisfying and fun, I think you will like this game. I'm just gonna
It's so smooth.
Yes,
you
it's
have so
super
little,
smooth. Yeah.
It's so little downtime. So if you are a player that you like heavy games, but you think like, oh, when people are thinking too much or it takes too long time, I'm not enjoying myself, I feel like this flows very nicely.
I'm gonna say what I say because I cannot tell you what to back. I cannot tell you. I hope the rest of the video basically told you, or other videos or a playthrough told you what you needed to know to understand if it was going to be for you. But for me, this is a fantastic game. We have only played the prototype. I think it's not going to change much. This is not a game that's like early in. I feel like it's not like an early in development. This is like almost a done game.
Yes.
I think it's a fantastic game. This is one I am already looking forward to get and play.
Yes.
I feel that if you follow our channel and you know the kind of games we like and you feel like you're in alignment with us most of the time or many times, especially with these kind of games, I think you're gonna like this game.
Yeah,
I cannot tell you to bag it or not bag it. I'm just gonna tell you that I think you should play it because it's a fantastic game. I think you will like it. I'm gonna ask you one question because this is a thing that many have, and you're like, oh, what is the question going to be? And it might be a hard one. Is that many people are like talking about this like it's a Lacerda-ish game. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it kind of is, but it's not a Lacerda game, so at the same time it's not. I thought that was a hard question.
Yeah, I feel like I think most people saying that it's because it's Ian O'Toole making the artwork.
Oh yeah.
Which you are like seeing that. So for me, it's a heavy worker placement game.
If it had like one worker, I would agree more, but it has two, potentially four.
It doesn't give me Lacerda feelings. It gives me its own feeling, which I think is better.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really like it. I think it's a great game.
Yeah.
As we said, check it out if you are interested. It's going to be on Kickstarter. Probably it is already when you see this video. You can go and check it out. And that's going to be the end. If you are watching all the way till this part and you haven't done so yet, you can help us out in a very big way by giving us a victory point.
And we get victory points to be the new CEO of the Galactic Cruise. And we get to do that if you subscribe. It's a button down there. You can also click the bell to get notifications. Yeah.
Every time we make a new video.
Yes.
And that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.